British soldiers, sailors, Air Force personnel, reservists, retired military, up to 270,000 people could have had their names and bank details hacked. The government's not confirming it, but it's convinced China is the culprit.
There are indications that a malign actor has compromised the armed forces payment network, but I do want to reassure people that Ministry of Defence has already taken action in removing the network offline, taking it offline and making sure that people affected are supported.
The government's ordered an independent investigation into how cybersecurity was breached at an outside contractor, Shared Services Connected, who organised Ministry of Defence payroll payments. Experts say China would have hoped to find some potential spies in a vast trawl.
I think it is very much classic. By collecting all this data and putting it together, aggregating it with other data, you can start to make some quite interesting deductions about individuals, and therefore if you're targeting them from an intelligence point of view, let's say that they go beyond just the bank account details and manage to get into those bank accounts, you can start seeing, well, who's in debt, who's spending far too much money, who might want some money.
One MP, who's an army reservist, was amongst those told their details might have been hacked. In his case, having recently been told, he's amongst 40 MPs believed to have been hacked by China.
Firstly, I'd like to thank the Minister for his call this morning. It is a little frustrating to be told that one's bank details and national insurance number are winging their way to Beijing or wherever they've gone. If there is a state actor behind it, we assume it's China because China has form in stealing mass data.
I'm sorry that he had to receive that phone call about what's happened. It is possible, and I can't rule out that it's attached to a country, but as soon as I say that, everyone assumes it therefore is attached to a country, and I am not in a position to confirm that at this point, simply because the work is required and it is incredibly detailed forensic work to get to that point.
China's President Xi is in France, today fated by President Macron on a trip to the Alps. The sort of hospitality he last enjoyed in Britain under David Cameron's premiership. Some Tory MPs said today's revelation proved the case for putting Xi's China in an enhanced tier of threat countries, which would require all those working for China here to be registered.
Why in heaven's name don't we take the decision to place this malign actor into that enhanced place and then make sure we deal with them accordingly?
President Xi's spokesman back in Beijing said British politicians' allegations were totally absurd and China opposed cyber attacks. Experts say it conducts them on an industrial scale, many much more dangerous than the MOD hack.
Anybody who's a bit shocked at this potential Chinese cyber activity, yes, it's alarming, but it's by no means the worst.
No, not really. I mean, they may not even have got into people's bank accounts. If you aggregate it with all the other forms of targeting that they're doing for information, then it might add to a relatively serious pot. But I would still put that as possibly the third of the threats that I've identified after the science and technology, the threat to your critical national infrastructure, and then the threat to sensitive personnel, whether there's a military intelligence or ministers or whatever.
The Defence Secretary said at this stage he didn't think the hacker had actually managed to steal the material located. But he apologised to all service personnel left concerned about their payroll data.